stories coming in from some close sources at Arsenal are confirming to us that Mikel Arteta is going to prioritize the signing of Victor Osimhen at Arsenal, and he's the first choice striker for Arsenal, and that is something important that you need to note about that. Then we are going to discuss a little bit about Reece James. Remember, Chelsea was beaten at Old Trafford yesterday by 2-1. He has gone ahead and obviously talked about the inconsistency of Chelsea. Sometimes they come up and really put in a shift, and everyone thinks that maybe Chelsea have gone ahead to arrive to obviously cause in a lot of trouble to other teams, but they obviously continue blowing hot and cold. Then John Stones is also having his reaction after that loss of Manchester City at the Villa Park. So smash the like button close to 200 times. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily, and we're here to obviously keep it going and going and going and going, and we are never stopping because we have the Lord God behind us. And for the Muslims, Barakallahu Fikum, because we are really a channel that really welcomes everyone. You know, even the atheists, you know, you are welcome. You know, time will come and really understand that God is there and he really works and gives us the best. Now, let's start it off with this guy, Team News, and he's called Team News Antiques. This guy is so close to Arsenal. He has gone ahead to break very many stories at Arsenal. And when I saw this story, I really said I have to come in and obviously say something about it. He has gone ahead to confirm to us that Victor Osimhen is Mikel Arteta's first choice striker for Arsenal. So it looks like Arsenal are prioritizing to get in a centre forward who is really world class, proven beyond reasonable doubt. That is Victor Osimhen, energetic. You know, he's a towering lad and he's tailor-made for the Premier League. That is it. When you look at his stats, they are obviously very, 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 very promising. Even this season, he's not really stopping to score those goals in the Italian Serie A. Last season, we all knew that he scored lots of goals, and this season, he's trying to obviously offer the best for his team. In the Serie A this season, he has gone ahead to play 10 games, 6 goals, 1 assist, meaning that he has 7 goal involvements. That is really a very good striker. He's been having a little bit of injuries that have gone ahead to limit his stretch of goals to where they're supposed to be. But I tell you, this guy is really a firing machine, and Arsenal would love to obviously get a striker who is as strong and clinical as him. Even Team Talk went ahead to obviously add beef to this story and said Arsenal have reportedly put themselves at the front of the queue to sign Napoli star Victor Osimhen. The striker's agent is refusing to negotiate a new deal with Napoli as he looks to engineer a transfer talk. Now, you've seen these two stories. One is coming in from the team and tips. Then this one is coming in from Team Talk. Victor Osimhen is in the age that Arsenal really wants. 23, 25 years of age. That is Victor Osimhen. And he has gone ahead to prove to us that he's really a very good striker, that everyone really wants him to come in through and obviously put in a shift. So, as it stands for Victor Osimhen, I think if Arteta makes a decision to bring in a centre forward, that means they'll be having a budget of close to £250 million. I brought you a story yesterday that the midfielder that Arsenal is targeting, known as Douglas Luiz, they've gone ahead to set a price of £110 million. Now, for Victor Osimhen, he'll also go for £100 million, meaning that he will really find himself doing the needful at the club of Napoli, and he'll find himself being sold that amount of money. And if they don't really agree a deal with him, Victor Osimhen might go at a little bit of a cheaper price, because you cannot really have this player not really gate his contract renewed. Remember, they're really into talks last season, and Victor Osimhen got to know that if at all I really renew my contract without a buyout clause, then everything won't go on as planned. Now, after the 30th of June 2024, Victor Osimhen will be left with 1 year on his contract, and Napoli will have to score. And his agent is really well schooled about the president of Napoli and how he obviously doesn't want to sell players. Remember, the player called Kauli Koulibaly. Teams like Man United went ahead to offer, I think, like £70 million and was calling in for like 80, 90. and he sold him at like 31 million pounds to Chelsea, meaning that he made a very huge loss. And he's not in a position of strength right now, because Victor Osimhen is telling him that if at all you want me to renew my contract and obviously extend some years on my contract, there is one thing we should all agree on. We should all agree on one thing, that when I put pen to paper, there should be a buyout clause, and that buyout clause should not exceed 100 million pounds. That is 120 million euros, and that is the realistic evaluation of the player. And for Arsenal to spend 100 million pounds on Victor Osimhen, that will be something easy. It will be as easy as taking water. That is Arsenal. And when you look at Victor Osimhen, I think he'll be a perfect fit at Arsenal. He'll bring in perfect competition for Gabriel Jesus, because for any team, it should be having two elite players that can obviously compete in that particular position. When you look at Arsenal, they don't have a competitor for Gabriel Jesus. And when Gabriel Jesus is off, there is really a huge drop-off. When you look at teams like Manchester City, they're having Julian Alves. After Julian Alves, they're having Erling Haaland. So even when Haaland is away, Alves comes in through and puts in a required shift. That is something that you need to obviously understand about the club of Man City. And Arteta wants to build a juggernaut at Arsenal like that at Man City, and by so doing, he'll obviously get himself to where he deserves to be as a manager. And lots of things are really going his way. The club is going to hate to back him. With them in the Champions League, there is no doubt that they won't be having money to spend to bring in Victor Osimhen at the club of Arsenal. And it's confirmed Arteta is prioritizing Victor Osimhen as his first choice center forward. So that is it, and you're going to hate to really understand. And one will ask, where will Arsenal get the money? Arsenal is going to get the money, because trust me, when Victor Osimhen comes in through, Eddie Nketiah will pave way, because he won't be having any playing time for the club of Arsenal. And there are some other players that Arsenal is going to sell and obviously make some good money. The likes of Lokonga, the likes of Nuno Tavares, the likes of which other guy? Eddie Nketiah, Emily Smith-Rowe. So Arsenal can sell some good players and obviously get in some good amount of money to obviously facilitate their transfer window. Even Aaron Ramsdale is up for sale. 50 million pounds are really what Arsenal want to get from this player. Now, if they get 50 million pounds and they get off 27 to pay to Brentford, that means they'll be having a balance of like 23, meaning they can use that amount of money and really get in more and more and more and more players at the club of Arsenal. So that is it, coming in from the close sources about Victor Osimhen coming into Arsenal, and we now wait and see whether that will come to pass. Let's go to Reece James, the captain, who came in through and obviously got battered by Alejandro Garnacho yesterday at Old Trafford on why Chelsea are so inconsistent. He said, "We go out there wanting to win, but it's still a young squad and we are learning game by game. Preparation for every game is the same, whether we are playing a top half or bottom half. At the moment, it's quite tough, but we know we have the capabilities to win every game. We need to go back to the drawing board and review the game and then prepare for Everton. We need to prepare right and start climbing the table." Now, inconsistency as Chelsea has been really huge, because there is a moment they drew with Arsenal 2-2. Everyone thought they are back. There is a moment they drew with Man City 4-4. Everyone thought they are back. There is a moment they went away at, is it Fulham? And I think they beat by 3 goals to 1. Everyone thought they are back. But every time they really make 2 steps forward, they make 5 steps backwards. That is the inconsistency we're really talking about. But for me, all I know is the manager is having players whose attitudes don't right. Most of them, because he's not the one who signed these players. He needs to be here for 1 more season or 2 more seasons and then build a team that believes in him, because he has gone ahead to bring in Nkunku, and it's not his signing, but Nkunku is a player with the right attitude. Nicholas Jackson, Disasi, who else has he brought in? Sanchez, Carl Palmer. So he needs to obviously get rid of players that he never bought and obviously get in players that he thinks can do the job for him, because no one doubts the ability and potential of Pochettino. He's a very good manager, but the problem has always been, can the club really give him the players he wants? That is the big question, and it goes on to be asked on several occasions, and we don't know when an answer will be given to us. But Poch is a very good manager, but the players is really having some some mentality that is not trying to play for Chelsea, because if we have Enzo Fernandez, who came in for £106 million, plus Moise Caicedo, who came in for £115 million, if you add that amount of money, it's close to £220 million midfield. Did it look like it was a £220 million midfield? No. But look at Declan Rice. He went for £105 million at Arsenal and is really showing that he's really that kind of player who went in for that huge amount of money at Arsenal. Now, we wait and see whether they're going to obviously come up at Everton on the weekend and obviously show them the best they can. Now, lastly, let's talk about John Stones returning to play against Aston Villa into the City squad. He said, after Aston Villa beating City by 1-0 and Man City was really ripped apart by Aston Villa, he said, I'm disappointed with my individual performance, as I think everyone else is in the dressing room. I think we've been successful because we've got players that will be self-critical in these moments. I think I can only speak for myself, but we are not good enough. So, they were not good enough, that is it. And they only had 2 shots on target. Can you imagine? 2 shots on target and only 2 shots at goal. So, it shows you that it was only that time Haaland faced the goalkeeper after Phil Foden released him, and then the ball rattled back to him, and he went ahead to obviously hit it, and the goalkeeper saved it. Those are the only 2 shots that were on target. Very ashamed for the club of Manchester City. If at all we're going to know what Man City has and puts in as a team, their shift was really banger average on the night. It was a abysmal performance down at the Villa Park. Man City, amidst it not having those players like Rodri and so on and so forth, they needed to obviously look a little bit a better or a more better and constructive team. But they're not proactive. They lost lots of things in the play, and their transition was really very, very bad. No fluidity in the final third, and Haaland was isolated. He was in a graveyard shift. He couldn't get that ball. The midfield couldn't build up. Remember, he played with a system of 3-2-4-1, and the double pivot had a Kanji and John Stones, and they couldn't connect that midfield to the attack. If I told you to look at the goal they conceded and the number of times they were under threat, it was all about them not getting to where they deserve to be as a club. So I think he's right. And they are playing Luton Town next, but Rodri, Jack Grealish are going to be back. So we hope they really get better. And I think Pep Guardiola needs to get another CDM that can obviously fit into the boots of Rodri every time he's away. Matheus Nunes is there, a work in progress, not a finished article. We hope he turns him into a better player. Calvin Phillips, obviously, he failed to get into that team of Manchester City, and they are considering to let him go in the January transfer window. May the living to God bless you abundantly, guys. Your thoughts on to Arteta prioritizing Victor Osimhen as his first choice striker are welcome in the comment section below. To make about Reece James, explain the inconsistency of Chelsea and the disappointed John Stones when he returned into the City starting 11 as they lost to Aston Villa. The Muslims Barak Laufikum. We out. Ciao, ciao.